r/askreddit by Redditron. What unexpectedly turned you on? Warning, this video is not safe for work. I was in Japan and had a crush on a woman from South France. Returned to the US, in line for fast food, and I hear a woman behind me speaking with a southern French accent. Popped a boner in line for a slice of pizza. A pre-med student explaining to me the anatomy of the nasal conchi while touching my face. The first time I used a riding lawnmower, when I was like 12. All the vibrating gave me a raging hard on. To this day, whenever I use one to mow I get at least half a stock. Why would anyone do drugs when you could just mow a lawn, Hank Hill? A girl I was friends with had apparently been giving me hints for a while that I hadn't been picking up on. One time we are hanging out and she goes to take a pee. She yells at me from the bathroom to come here. I walk up to the door and ask her what she needs. With no hesitation she says, "Come in here, I want you to watch me pee." Unexpected turn on for some reason. Well, did you? Indeed I did. She was gorgeous. Also had lots of mental issues though, so we didn't last long together. Once my BF and I were cooking dinner together and halfway through it was ruined because he hadn't kept his eye on the hot pan. It was one of the first times he had tried to cook something somewhat fancy for me, plus it was late and we were both hungry and tired. Normally he's very kind and gentle, but he got super frustrated and slammed his hand against the wall, swearing. It was startling and at first, I was a bit scared, then I got super turned on by it. That scene in GoldenEye where Xenia on a top squeezes that guy to death awoke something in me at a very young age. She always did like a good squeeze. When I was a freshman in college, an English boy in one of my classes said the phrase war of attrition with his English accent, and I had to go take a breather. One day at work we had a day when we needed to dress business smart. Usually we dress very casually, and my coworker, who usually dresses in baggy shirts and jeans, wore a full fitted suit and a man. So when I was in my early teens and just discovering sex, I decided that, since I was a bit of an artist, I could draw porn for myself. I started with a vag and that was all well and good, but then I decided to try a dick and suddenly sprang. I was not expecting that in the slightest. Paint me like one of your repressed tendencies. When my husband looks back, when he's backing in the car, stirring around batter or something in a big mixing bowl. Don't know why, don't know how to describe it. The motion, or maybe when the spoon scrapes against the bowl, no clue. I don't know what it is, but something about the just woke up look really gets me. Like messy hair and loose pajamas. Shit's my kryptonite. I'm a sucker for everything unkempt. That carefree look is a killer. Taking a Greek mythology course in the tar, a curvy redhead said if you want to talk about mythology for hours on end, I'm your girl. This comment did it for me. It's spreading. Dear God. Fingers. Long and lithe, or thin and short, male or female. Something about graceful fingers turns me on. On the phone with this guy, there's some history with us, and he said shut up, but mostly jokingly. Instant and confused arousal on my end. Driving off cliffs in video games, falling in them in general. Also those videos of people jumping around on very high ledges and buildings. Finally something just plain fucking weird. I have a rather awful memory. Years of drug abuse probably contributed to that. A longtime co-worker slash friend of mine has a superb memory, and I feel so attracted to her for it. I don't know why, but the fact that she's able to recall personal conversations I had with her 5 years prior really impresses me, especially because we didn't get along too well back then, and turns me on. We just started dating 2 months ago. I female, was doing dishes, and one of male friends who was visiting was watching me from the doorway, unbeknownst to me. When I noticed, he was just casually standing there, leaning against the frame, arms crossed, moist, panties. This thread, glad I'm not alone. A girl's bareback. Finally, a man of class. 70-year-old woman said I was handsome. Got a raging hard on for some reason. I think I need a girlfriend. Edit. BTW guys. I'm 20 years old. I may or may not have a granny fetish. At the very least free cookies. Lick my hair, and I'm down to fuck. Never get a puppy please. Tomato in the kitchen was looking extra THICC just the other day. Had a girl jokingly choke me. Nothing's been the same since. So there I was. Barbecue sauce on my titties. Someone down to earth who isn't afraid to show their emotion or take off their metaphorical public mask. Also knee socks. GF and Roncy. Watching someone talk about things they are passionate about. Does not matter what it is. There is just a mode most people go into when they are talking about something they really care about. Their eyes shine and their faces light up. A lot of times they get so caught up in what they are saying they will stop paying attention to their body language and start making odd gestures and faces. You just get a good look at who they really are. It is a huge turn on for me. Strong breeze. Stretch marks on boobs. I never thought that would be sexy until I saw them for the first time in person. I've been a fan ever since. I was leaving a Renaissance fair, following a group of 3 college-aged women who were all kind of in costume. Suddenly one stopped, staggered, fell to her knees, and projectile vomited in a bush, which was absolutely disgusting. Don't get me wrong. But she had her hair up and was squeezing out of this strapless leather corset, and in the 5 or 10 seconds before she actually yawned in Technicolor, her whole body was heaving and writhing like a cat about to have a hairball, and for some bizarre reason I thought it was the hottest thing I'd ever seen. Which was hella awkward, as I hadn't yet realized I was into women just then. Military aircraft. I saw a video of a crow speaking English. Made me erect. Consent. I watched a woman go to town on a burrito like a starved wolf. Turned me on like crazy. My wife serially committed adultery for about 7 years before we got divorced. The 2 times I caught her red-handed preceded a 1 or 2 week period during which she and I had the best sex we'd ever had. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for me and leave a comment below sharing your stories.